there's a federal law called Title 4D. It was passed in the late 1970s. This is the cause of the divorce explosion in the 1980s and the creation of, there were no family courts in the early 1980s. They didn't exist. They were created specifically because of Title 4D. Title 4D provides for matching funds for the collection of child support. So I don't know about Virginia, but I know about Texas. In Texas, it's $500 million. It's $480 to $520 million per year. The more child support that's issued, the more money the state gets in reimbursements. The more it collects, the more it gets in reimbursements. The entire Texas Attorney General's office is funded by the child support collection matching funds from Title 4D. Texas actually has a law in the Texas Government Code which requires all judges to rule in cases in such a way to maximize Title 4D.
There. So I guess, Brian, like, I'm relatively new to Texas here still, but are you familiar with with this Title 4D program, how this works, and basically how it incentivizes courts basically taking harsher, I don't know what the word would be, like harsher decisions than they would otherwise normally do in the case of family law?
I have not heard of that. That's really fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. I said I was kind of surprised when I saw this as well, and so I'm keeping the channel up in case anyone wants to go watch the original videos on this. But yeah, like that kind of, when I heard this, I think that for me this kind of clicked, a couple of neurons that were kind of in my head kind of separated. That okay, it all makes sense now. What's going on here? Where it's not just a case like we think of, a breakup, a divorce that happens. Our church just went through an excellent series our pastor did on marriage and divorce that went over the course of, I think, almost 3 months. It was really, really good content. And, coming from the perspective of like, we don't want to see families dissolve. We don't want to see kids, split between mom and dad. And at the same time, what we're finding out is that the system literally is built to do just that. And I can understand with that in mind, why people are looking at, the situation going, well, there's a lot of trepidation about, getting married, for example. And I don't know about you, you know, do you think that this is a contributing factor to why a lot of people are saying, well, I don't want the commitment, I don't want to get married, because even if we aren't familiar with how the government, is working behind the scenes to kind of facilitate this whole kind of program, we're all aware that marriage is basically the one contract, maybe besides from HOA contracts, where the law kind of doesn't really apply and the contract isn't really binding at all. And the parties aren't held accountable on a legal basis to, to their responsibilities.
Yeah, I think for the guys who are, knowingly looking to start families, I think that would definitely be a something in the back of their mind to make sure that their spouse they're looking for, the woman they're looking for, is has that personality, has that character to not be someone who runs, to not be someone who is willing to dissolve a marriage over, supposedly not being happy anymore. Because that's all it requires anymore. There's no fault divorce, right? And so I think that it definitely makes men more cautious, knowing that if anything happens in the future, there's all kinds of perverse incentives. There's all kinds of it's an imbalanced system. You're probably going to lose your children. You're probably going to have to pay a significant child support and alimony and all the other things that go along with that. So I think that there is definitely creates a pressure in a certain direction.